2, 3타를 우승을 하고 그 다음 시즌에는 준우승, 왕의 귀환, 또 신의 귀환이 될
아마추어에서 이제 ASL 리거가 된 생애 최초의 결승전체 저구왕조의 트로피를 이어받는
현 시점 가장 창의적이고 가장 공격적이고 가장 유연한 플레이를 보여주는
최고의 승률을 자랑하고 있는 진짜가 돌아왔어요.
생각에 딜레이가 없는 것 같이 움직여요.
압도적입니다. 5회 우승은 꿈이 아닌 것 같은 그런.
지금은 저의 세대입니다. 영호 형이 저한테 지는 그림이 그려져요.
원래 제자리였기 때문에 가져올 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
GSL Season 2.
Hello everybody, welcome back. It's time for the final match in the round of 12. Classic versus GuMiho. These are the two players remaining. Classic with an absolutely extraordinary performance so far. GuMiho looking weak, TVP. We'll see if that changes in this game, but right now I think anybody who's looking at this matchup is probably thinking Classic should be the favorite, right?
Yeah, GuMiho had a rough go of things versus Zoun earlier on today. Now, he looked very good versus Solar in that TVZ, but TVZ and TVP are distinctly different matchups. And, you know, I honestly put Classic at a level above Zoun in PBT, and Zoun just dealt with the timing attacks that GuMiho threw at him so easily. And I'm really hoping, heading into this series, GuMiho is going to come in with something a little bit different to try and take down Classic, because if he delivers the same builds, the same strategies that we saw him execute versus Zoun, I do not see a way that he's going to be taking down Classic.
Yeah, also, Classic is kind of the guy that was at the forefront of that like mass expanding PvT style, right? Like I was saying before, it's like a StarCraft 1 PvT where Protoss gets to be like Zerg and like take the whole map. Can GuMiho actually like do what Cure does and kind of like let Protoss take the whole map and then almost be so teched out that it doesn't matter how many resources Protoss has? Does GuMiho try to go for a fast kill here? Again, against Classic. Classic's kind of like the best at defending PvT, I think, out of the whole lot of Protosses.
Yeah, Classic's capable of doing anything. He can't go for timing attacks, he can't play the macro game, but I think what he's most famous for is just his defense. It's usually rock solid. And the fact that Zoun was able to deal with the pushes of GuMiho so well, so early, when GuMiho went for those siege tank pushes especially, yeah, I think that there needs to be some kind of mix-up coming in here by GuMiho, and maybe that's trying to get like a little bit more harassment done with some really quirky openings. Maybe not necessarily the 3 Marauder drop that we had earlier on with GuMiho in game number 1 versus Zoun, but if we mix in like some Banshees or some Liberators or just something to get economic damage done, maybe like a proxy starport, elevators, some Hellions in the main base. There are so many ways to skin a cat. GuMiho just has to find the way that works versus Classic.
Yeah, if he does the 3 Marauder drop, I want to see it work.
Yes.
I want to understand it. Yeah, I mean, you know, Classic, I don't expect him to do crazy anything. I feel like his PvT, you play pretty vanilla if you're him, right? I think, you know, well, especially when you think one player is clearly better than the other. There's not a whole lot you have to do other than kind of go through your build order and you know, keep up with the pace of macro and everything like that. Guys, we're ready to go into this final best of 3 and what's been a very short day of GSL. We were just talking about how all the GSL days are way longer than the RSL days, but this is more of an RSL day, it feels like. Don't know why that is, the same format and everything. Anyways, so we have the probe going across the map right away to see, you know, where the barracks is, or, you know, is the barracks not in the main in this case.
It's a very lyric scout here for Classic. The moment the game begins, pulls one of the first 12 probes, and he's actually going to get a glimpse of this SCV. Usually when you see an early SCV like this, it's going to be for an engineering bay block at the natural expansion, but this time it's actually a Makarax coming in here from GuMiho. He's hiding a barracks very close to the main base, but it's mostly just there to kind of obscure what it is that Terran is going for.
Yeah, so a lot of times Protoss will look at this and go, oh boy, all right, I'm getting rushed. Let's get ready to stop this, when in fact it's a pretty normal build. Makarax. I think, by the way, Maka Prime, that's like probably the guy we still reference.
Yeah.
That from the oldest period of StarCraft 2.
You know, it's funny, too, because with
Pre-Caspa players switching over and everything.
with so many SCV pulls, you would think that bit by bit would get a little bit more, a little bit more love, right?
Yeah.
That was the guy who really revolutionized the SCV pull, but we don't see it too often. Anyway, Classic now, going for the scout. He's trying to find the barracks because this could possibly be a proxy 1-1-1. It could possibly be a proxy 2-Rax Marauder. And he will eventually find the racks right outside the natural expansion here from GuMiho. GuMiho, he's not doing anything crazy behind this. It is a 2-gas opening, so there will be a factory follow-up. And Classic's going to expect that, having seen both gases. But now Classic knows that there isn't some insane curveball heading his way.
Yeah. Now, we don't know what kind of TVP this is still going to be here from GuMiho. It's going to take a little while to see. Again, I expect Classic to just be kind of doing that macro style. I think that's smart. And I think he's still probably the best at this in the whole world. Just kind of taking the whole map. By the way, there was sort of this panic in the whole StarCraft 2 scene when Protoss started to do this. And I was kind of making fun of it. And I get where they're coming from, where it's like, well, can you not kill Protoss? You know what I mean? But it is interesting to see that the Terrans do seem to have come up with a solution. You know, we've had a lot of Terrans win with the base trade after the Protoss is on something like 9 bases, literally.
Yeah, there are a lot of sacrifices that are made if you go for that kind of style of PvT. Your army's just not going to be as refined as it could be, but even in the best of cases, it's pretty hard for Protoss to play a perfect late game if Terran and Protoss are able to, just fully reach their potential as races in this game, because Terran can just have so much more army supply than Protoss.
Yeah.
In any case, the mid game, it does seem quite tough for Terran players still. It is often the early pressure that sets the tone in TVP. Can he get economic damage done? Well, then he might be able to end the game early. Otherwise, it does feel like the Cure-esque exhaust play does seem to be the way. And by the way, look at this. Classic is holding the line of sight. Okay, he's going to spot the Reapers and the Hellions. Classic is only just now seeing this. And actually, we don't have a reaction just yet. Is there even a recall or anything? No. The Reapers and Hellions coming into the natural expansion. I think that Classic just missed this.
This is so bad. You can't lose this many probes early on.
Oh, there isn't even a recall. I'm not sure. We don't have the energy for a recall. There's no units to actually deal with this push. The 2 Stalkers and 1 Adept, the only units that Classic has on the map. They're heading for a counterattack at GuMiho's natural expansion.
This isn't going to work.
5 probes have already fallen. GuMiho is doing the very safe thing, going for the pylon, because he has no idea where the Protoss army is, and the 2 Widow Mines! Oh my goodness, this is the perfect start for GuMiho.
I can't believe how badly this game has gone for Classic. I actually don't think we've had a game like this in years in GSL, where it's like, how bad can it be? Like, it's almost comical, like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Classic's having a hard time, and like the map 1 of every single series that he's played so far today just has not gone his way. I'm not sure what it is, but GuMiho just getting huge damage done. Terran right now with a 5-worker lead over Protoss. Protoss has an army supply of 6. Of 6. Medevac and 2 Widow Mines, that's also 6 army supply. This is, it's ridiculous what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, GuMiho kind of messed up there. Should have dropped that behind the mineral patch. Okay. GuMiho actually...
Oh my god. 13 probes. Oh my god. Say GG, just say GG.
It's okay, it's okay. If you leave now, here's the thing, if you leave now, no one can judge you for that. Well, we'll judge you a little bit.
20 probes. Look at this, he just lost. It's like 10x.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think you could just go across the map and kill him, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, GuMiho, this is like, you've just been gifted the golden goose in this game.
Yeah.
Like, you really want to take any risks. Like, it's a guaranteed win if you just wait until Stim and +1 infantry weapons are done and you move across the map. And so one thing we see GuMiho doing right now, which is really smart, is he's just making sure that he safe is absolutely everything. He's throwing down a missile turret in the natural expansion at a timing where you typically wouldn't see a missile turret placed in the natural expansion, because he's just going through a flowchart in his head like, okay, what could I possibly lose to? What could cause some problems? DCs could be an issue. That is what Classic is going for. So we just have a proactively built missile turret.
I think the DTs is smart.
Oh yeah, you got to go for something here, right?
You got to make it weird. Uh-oh. Not like this, though. I don't know, guys. I don't know about this one. Here's the thing. You can't even recall that back fast enough. Okay. I forgot he could blink out of there. I'm sorry, everybody.
I mean, if Classic is able to turn this game around, it would be the craziest thing ever. GG's
What about the DG tech? At least try that. Nope.
Wow.
Okay, that was that was one of the worst games I've ever seen from Classic. That is literally the worst game I've ever seen from Classic.
Yeah, that was just the perfect storm of everything going wrong. And I think the main thing it goes back to is Classic just parking the Stalkers and the Adepts in the middle of the map. He was so much expecting any move out from GuMiho to cross the dead center of the map. And the fact that GuMiho just jumped into the natural expansion from a different pathway basically sealed the victory. There's nothing Classic can do, especially because he was so proactive with a chrono boost on his side of the map. He couldn't even have the energy to recall the Stalkers and the Adept in the center. I mean, that was just the perfect game for GuMiho.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just crazy how bad that went for him. I don't think we're going to have another game that looks like that. I actually think it's almost impossible to mess that game up as bad as it was. Right? Like, that was the worst thing ever for Classic. But, man, who knows? Maybe GuMiho just wins. Maybe he just moves on.
Well, there can be no more mistakes here from Classic.
Maybe we're all going to be playing with towels on our mice. Maybe that's what's going to happen.
I forgot about the towel.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a towel. It seems like it's almost like a handkerchief he's got in there.
Yeah, a handkerchief would be good. I also sometimes get kind of sweaty palms when I'm playing. I'm one of these people that, like, if I'm spending a lot of time on my PC, I have to wash my hands so much just because I hate the feeling of any oil on my mouse or on my keyboard.
Oh, yeah, you get the palms are sweaty.
I don't really.
Mom spaghetti.
But there was even just playing normally.
Arms
there's enough
steady.
oil on your skin that, like, I just hate it. So I
spaghetti.
I understand GuMiho.
I don't get sweaty. I get wiggly.
You get wiggly?
When I get nervous, I get wiggly. I remember the first tournament I ever went to, and I was like, where I was playing, right? And I was like 15, and like I was in one of these positions where like everybody could like sit behind me and see me play, because my PC was like in a spot everybody could like watch from. And I remember like trying to make boxes really fast over my workers, like to try to like look cool, and I ended up like stopping in my first match. I ended up accidentally stopping all my workers twice, trying to. And I remember being like, "Oh my god, I'm so nervous right now." I was playing Terran too, so you know it's like you make an SCV, but then you also S on the keyboard is stop the workers.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
And I remember being like, "Oh, this is terrible." Like I didn't know I could. Yeah.
Well, back in the days of MLG, like if you're playing in the open bracket, every single game was like that. Even if you were casted from the open bracket, they kind of put you on like this very small stage. It was like 12 feet by 12 feet that was slightly elevated off the ground. It would be parked where the middle of a crowd could be, so everyone can see you. And there's gigantic screens above where you're playing. And I remember back in that day, whenever I would be playing, I would make sure that I wore a hoodie, and I would be like a racehorse with like blinders. I would just pull the hoodie
actually,
so far over my head that I can't see anybody.
Hoodie gamers are actually elite. I will say this.
We gotta hide, man.
I actually like, I like the, like, when I would go to arcades when I first came here and I would play fighting games, I'd have a hoodie on. And it was like my, you know, like a falcon has to have like a little thing covering its head or it'll just attack. That was, no, horse blinders might be a better.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely me not attacking the audience. It's me just trying to pretend that nothing else is existing and I'm like at home in my underwear playing on ladders.
Yeah.
Something, you know?
Yeah, totally. Is that a proxy starport? Yeah.
Proxy starport. And a Marauder early here for GuMiho too. Okay, this game is getting pretty interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a low ground expand here for GuMiho. Proxy starport on the north side of the map. And I imagine this is going to be for elevated Hellions if I were to guess. But you know, that the Marauder getting started tastes like I'm wondering a little bit. We did have a 3 Marauder drop from GuMiho earlier on in the game. we might have something like that again here in this series.
So let's see how much damage this actually ends up getting done. Right now what Classic's doing is pretty standard. We are going to have that push come out. Not the same push as last time, but he is kind of putting some pressure. And this is all a setup so that he can get the Hellions into the medevac and then just drop him in the main. And like maybe Protoss is a little bit too traumatized from the last game and protecting the front a little bit too much. By the way, no third CC, so he's going to probably do a follow-up push. This is it's one of the more straightforward ways to play, especially as Terran, is the kind of 1-2 punch. Like the drop does damage into the push.
This is one of the weirdest drops I've ever seen. It's 2 Hellions, 1 Marauder, 1 Marine, and a Reaper.
This is a MacGyver push.
This is like the kind of units that you would get at the start of like a Legacy of the Void campaign mission.
This is a box art drop. This is...
What is this? All right, there's this shield battery here in the main base. That should mitigate a lot of the damage coming in here on the probes. And Classic's going to be scratching his head a little bit about the composition in this main. Now, the medevac is going to pivot down into the natural expansion. 2 more Stalkers get warped in.
He puts the 1 Marauder in there just so you think it's going to be the Marauder drop before he switches back into the Hellions. I think that GuMiho might be pressing his luck a little bit here.
He's buying a lot of time right now.
I guess he's not mining, which is pretty good, right?
Like a probe mines like 45 or 50 minerals a minute or so, and that's like a full mineral line that's not mining, so...
Yeah, actually...
It's quite a bit of income.
It is a good point. And here we got the setup push. Now, I don't believe he killed a single worker there, right?
I think he might have gotten 1.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm not even sure if he got 1. But at least GuMiho was able to, trade out 1 Hellion for a ton of idle times. I mean, in those terms, it's valuable. It's just not really the damage I think GuMiho is looking to get.
Okay, so the Robo's done. Charge is coming. Now, Charge generally is going to be very strong when it comes to fighting the push. I don't know how strong it is going to be versus this push, because GuMiho did slow Classic down a decent amount. Does this want to hit as +1 finishes?
I think it should.
Yeah,
because
that makes sense.
Combat shields will get started from the 2nd tech lab, and that should line up pretty well here with +1 infantry weapons, I believe.
Now, he's going to move out once that's done and basically try to hit. This is going to be, as the 3rd base is going to be done for Protoss. Now, there's going to be Charge. There's going to be Storm, too. And he's going to do a 4-stalker, or I guess a 3-stalker harass here. See what he can or can't kill. Terran's actually moving out. Now, there's nothing here in the main to protect this. And I don't know that GuMiho's going to go back. I think he wants to just go for this. He has 3 SCVs, so he has not pulled the boys, but he does have like enough for repair, maybe bunkers if he wants. GuMiho's just stopped in the middle of the map. Okay, he's moving again.
Units continuing to rally out of these barracks should be enough to deal with a 3-stalker drop in the natural expansion. And Classic knows that something is up. He knows that GuMiho is going for a big attack right now. And so he's hunkering down, throwing down shield batteries. Storm is nearly completed. Charge is just about to finish up. So some critical upgrades about to pop here for Classic. The Storms have to be really good. I think there might only be 1 or 2 Storms with this army right now.
Nice Storm there. Oh, the SCV almost gets killed off. He's going to lay the bunkers down.
And the Storm got 1 or 2 ticks of damage done.
This is such a spread out spot here.
Yeah, I think Classic's going to break through. Okay, there actually is a gap. He's able to break through the bunkers right now. Storm zoning away these Marines. A lot of them get isolated there on the left side, and now the Zealots can go to town on the bio and the siege tanks here on the front.
Is this enough, though? I mean, the Marines are still fighting the Immortal. There's 1 Archon out. By the way, the bunkers are going to... Oh, no, they are not going to finish. Excuse me.
CVs did get taken out. Immortal continuing to fight on. The 3 Stalkers in the Warp Prism. They come back. Classic's going to hold the push from GuMiho, and now GuMiho, I think, is going to be on the run. Now, does Classic wind up for a counterattack with this? He warps in 4 more Templar. You can either continue to probe up, take the 3rd base, potentially set up for a 4th expansion, or waiting until you have 4 more Storms. There is likely an angle for Classic to try and get damage done in GuMiho's natural expansion. For now, it seems like Classic is going to be going for the more safe option, playing defensive. Keep in mind, Classic has no lives left. He needs to win the next 2 games.
No, he's fighting for his tournament life, and this is a guy that had, maybe the best year of his career last year. Okay, he's going to pick up. Vision goes away real fast when you kill someone in StarCraft 2, so Protoss is not possibly going to be ready for this to hit in the main, because you can see right now he's trying to basically meet this. When you have Charge against Terran, what you're trying to do is meet them in the middle of the map, so they have to siege up in the middle of the map. You don't want to meet them after they've sieged up. That's when Terran's the strongest. Scan here to confirm this is a safe move. And Classic's running home. He does not use the recall. Oh my god, there's a tank in this.
That's another funny looking drop right here. Okay, the Storms get some good damage on the bio. Medevac should be able to heal it up though. Do we have an energy recharge available for 1 more Storm? Seems like not.
Did he make a 3rd CC? I actually have not been watching the Terran this whole time.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So GuMiho is quite committed right now with no third orbital. It's looking like, you know, the main at 8:30 starts mining out in StarCraft 2. I'm imagining that GuMiho, if this continues on for another couple of minutes, will probably be lifting the main command center down to the third base. But the problem is, Classic's already going for a fourth. So instead, GuMiho, he's pulling more SCVs from the natural expansion. He wants to try and end the game right now.
Okay, he's gonna send the SCVs back. This isn't gonna do that much. Classic not actually going for a warp in with that, by the way. I thought he was gonna like warp in 10 Zealots, but this push is gonna hit. And there's a lot of SCVs here with this. Now this base is not, oh, he's gonna make turrets here. Why is he doing that? Okay, I thought he would make bunkers or something else. The turrets, I don't really understand why you would need turrets right now. The problem is that, yeah, the fourth base doesn't matter. It's the third base or the second base that are going to be important here. He is baiting out the storms. I do love that.
Classic is able to trade pretty effectively, though. Storms catching a lot of bio, and now GuMiho inching closer and closer. Templar in the Warp Prison, able to drop some storms on top of all the Liberators right now. The Zealots are charging in. More storms land on the Liberators on top of the siege tanks. But I don't think there's enough anti-air here for GuMiho, or for Classic. Excuse me, Classic has to back off. GuMiho, a lot of these units, they're injured, but he is on the move right now. Classic just spent all of his storms. Now is the time for GuMiho to get damage done.
If he can get over here and unpower the Robo, that's going to be massive. The Immortals are kind of the strongest thing Terran has right now, especially against tanks and lots of Marauders. Okay, he's doing a great job of repairing. The tanks are going to inch it again. He's in range. He can shell the Robo here, which puts a clock on this.
There are so few medevacs, though, Tasteless. The bio, it's not going to be healing up. Oh, the Immortal spawns on the wrong side. Classic does not rally that back.
GuMiho looks like he's about to swallow his tongue right now on the camera. He's so focused. Stalker's going to come from behind, but the spread is pretty good. The Immortals are going to drop on the tanks, only he ends up killing off, I think, both Immortals, yeah.
Stalkers blink forward, though. The bio, it's been so injured. There wasn't any healing, and so the Zealots and Stalker is able to clean it up very quickly. And I think Classic might barely be holding.
Well, let's see. The push is going to continue on. Was the Robo killed? No. Okay, so he's still making Immortals. Yeah, I think you might be right, State. No more tanks being pushed. It's no longer going to be a push. It's going to be Terran having to stim and power through here. What?
Huh? It should be the main base that's...
What? Why?
I don't understand.
That's the worst thing I've ever seen in my whole life. That's literally, this is like...
There's more minerals in the natural than in the main. Why would we lift?
Why would he do that? This is almost like we tried to train an AI to play the game, but we're like, well, it's not working
I think this is not intentional. I bet you GuMiho manually hockeys all of his command centers.
My God,
I think because oh no, he's still harvesting from the natural. He thinks he lifted his main. He's focused on microing on the front. GuMiho doesn't realize. Oh no. Oh no. Not like this.
I've never quite seen a fail like
that was
this.
I was like trying to think of like how could this possibly happen, because it's so obviously the wrong move.
Like doing play-by-play, we're like suddenly GuMiho gets a tumor in his brain and makes a weird decision.
Oh man, oh that feels so bad. I don't even know if GuMi's realized this just yet. No. He's still distance mining from the natural expansion. I mean, he might just be tunnel visioned on the front lines right now.
Let's see how this final attack goes.
All right, another storm coming in. Oh, that would be a great angle for a storm, but Classic sleeping on it a little bit.
Well, he knows now.
That storm getting two big ticks of damage on all of the bio. I mean, this is crazy. GuMiho, it must have been that he thought he lifted the main, and he just has never looked back to his base. He still has no idea. I mean, the income is so disrupted right now for GuMiho because of this.
I mean, I think there's no way. I mean, he's basically economically hogtied himself. What a weird moment. Okay, so the drop's coming in here. It's actually doing a lot, by the way.
That Classic's army out of position. Was not expecting a big drop here in the main base. And again, I mean, the bio is so low on HP right now. There have been non-stop stims for GuMiho's army. All the medevacs are near depleted of energy. And this is still happening, by the way. GuMiho still thinks that he lifted the main. I guess, like, if you're rallying to the front, why would you look to the main or the natural expansion if you're not dropping mules there, right? But, oh, I mean, the game is still so close.
Well,
you have to wonder if GuMiho had actually lifted the main command center instead of the natural expansion, would he be in a better position? I mean, certainly. But would it be enough for him to be winning this? Possibly. Oh, that's so painful.
I think this game's done. You know, I think it was all hinged on getting the fourth base up.
I
can't believe this is still going on.
Oh, he just now realized. Oh, that's just terrible.
All right, he's going to try to push out. I think we're going to have to watch the next attack fail. And we're going to go on into game 3.
The bio is so low on HP right now.
I do think there's possible Classic would have held this had GuMiho not done the weirdest move with the command centers ever.
I mean, GuMiho certainly would have had a much better chance. I mean, this has been such a significant disruption to his economy. And GuMiho just had no idea for several minutes.
Yeah, there's nothing he could do. He also might have seen this and been like, I can't actually relocate this again.
Yeah, I mean, now it's already been too expensive. Now the Storms are going to come in. GuMiho trying to charge and take down the Colossi, but the bio is already so injured.
GG.
We're going to a game number 3 between Classic and GuMiho.
That was... We had 2 games in a row with 2 of the biggest fails I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's been really a tumultuous day for the players so far.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
I mean, even game 1 between Classic and Solar was also had one of these moments, right? With Classic going for the very early move out. The Templars, the Immortals getting isolated there by Solar. I know it was at the very start of the broadcast, but it feels like a lot of these games have been decided by players making mistakes, which mistakes are always going to happen, even at the top level of play. I mean, even players like Cero make mistakes, but it feels like it's been so amplified today, you know?
You know, it's funny. We usually have games defined by epic wins. There's been a couple of epic fails here. That is, I've never seen that. I've never seen, I understand it. Like when you pointed out, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's what it is that he just has this, somehow the hotkeys got switched.
I mean, nothing else makes sense,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. That's not a choice.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, watching someone fall downstairs. You're like, why would he do that? It's like, no, he tripped. He twisted his ankle. You're not like, well, is that to get down the stairs faster? That must be why. And it's like, no, he fell. He fell.
It's a perfect analogy. I love that so much, Tasteless. Yeah, that certainly was a fall down the stairs moment there for GuMiho. I mean, we'll never know if GuMiho was able to gather the extra resources, which probably was going to be close to like 1,000+ minerals if you just think of the amount of time where he was distance mining from the natural expansion, which, by the way, still had 8 mineral patches. You know, a lot of them were close to being depleted, but they weren't depleted just yet. I mean, that's just a terrible moment for GuMiho, who was so focused on the front that one bad keystroke, running afoul, really just upended that entire game.
All right, let's see what happens in this next game. We're going to have a Max Pax gateway here in the map. I like it. A little bit of aggro here for Classic. Again, you know, GuMiho could win. I mean, I've been casting GuMiho forever, and there's moments he just looks like, you know, top 2 Terrans in the world. But, you know, it's going to be crazy if GuMiho beats Classic here now. I think GuMiho's brought a pretty scrappy original Terran. And GuMiho, by the way, probably the most original Terran in the whole world. But, you know, it's all been hinged on winning in mid-game, which is fine. But, man, Terran have a hard time winning against Protoss in mid-game. I'll tell you that much.
I think a lot of it's going to hinge on exactly what's going to happen with this proxy gateway. Now, it is the least committed variant of this build. It's just one proxy gateway. Occasionally in the GSL and the RSL, we have seen 2 proxy gateways utilized to really try and get damage done in almost an all-in mode. That is not the case here for Classic. It's just the one proxy. So he's going to try and get some kind of economic damage done early here versus GuMiho. And I think this is a smart choice versus a player like GuMiho, because GuMiho often does cut corners, might be the wrong phrasing, but for just the lack of a better phrase, cut corners in the early game to try and get these very finesse-based army compositions, like we saw in game number 1 or game number 2, where he went for, what was it, like 2 Hellions and like a Marine, a Reaper, and a Marauder or something, and a drop. Like that is not an army that's very good at a head-on engagement. It's GuMiho just trying to finesse a little bit of economic damage. And if GuMiho tries to go for something like that again here, then suddenly Classic moving up the ramp of GuMiho with a Zealot and 1 or 2 Stalkers could get a lot of damage done.
Yeah, so this is going to be tech front-loaded with the expand right after. And, you know, this is where you can get punished pretty badly. The command center starts a little bit later. You're going to basically have the Zealots and the Stalker hit pretty quickly. And, you know, this is a very strong build for Protoss versus what Terran's doing. Like, you know, sometimes you have builds and they create certain opportunities, but sometimes you do a build and then you get there and you go, oh, nice. And you really get an edge. So think about this. I mean, this SCV is going to be killed. And now what do? You cancel? Are you going to be able to reclaim this down here?
This Reaper's very low on HP. They need to heal. Oh, Classic could have gone up into the Bane base, but I think he wisely decides that the command center is more important. GuMiho is not committed to the cancel just yet. GuMiho is actually going to pull the SCVs to try and hold this. Yeah, he's going to send the SCVs now. The Zealots are going to come out, and they're going to be clicked on to the Reapers, the Hellions. Dude, GuMiho's micro is nasty. Did any SCVs even fall during this?
I think literally none. I thought he was going to actually have the Zealot hit the SCVs.
Yeah, I think that would have been the better move to guarantee a favorable trade out, because now GuMiho, because his control was so good, is going to lose very little. Okay, 1 Reaper and 1 Hellion will fall, but Classic is losing so much. He loses 3 Stalkers. Maybe this one will barely escape with orange HP, but 2 Stalkers, 2 Zealots, and now he's going to lose potentially the proxy gateway, although GuMiho, I think, still doesn't know where it is exactly. Okay, so you got to cancel the Stalker, right? I guess he can just run away. I suppose so. Is he going to try to contest this? He's got to be careful, man. You know, I actually thought this Max Packs build was going to go a lot better, but for some reason I thought there were going to be more Reapers and Hellions rallying across the map to try and head towards a natural expansion and get some damage done on Classic, but no, instead GuMiho is pivoting. So Classic can defend the proxy gateway for now. And I think we're going to try and transition from here into a standard game.
And yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty action-packed start here. Not sure why he's setting this out. I mean, that's definitely going to get killed. This 3 Stalkers coming up here. Again, he's slowed GuMiho down now on mining. It's crazy how much this is done. I mean, remember, even though GuMiho recovers the command center, everything's coming out so much slower here. You know, it's basically a 1-base Terran with a placeholder for a command center. Now, is there any chance... Did he get blinked, by the way?
I think the Twilight Council just recently finished up.
Okay,
so it's likely started, but not done yet. It might not even be started.
Yeah, I guess he never started it, because I remember seeing it finish, but the whole tempo of this game kind of feels funny. Oh man, Classic going a little bit slowly here. He is going to dive on this. This is actually enough SCVs, he can repair this. So...
Blink isn't done, right? Because I think it still hasn't begun.
No, I was in the same spot where I was like, why? Oh, he's going to get charged. Okay.
Okay.
That does it. No Blink's a little bit rough, though. You know, it's kind of hard to imagine how Stalkers are going to fare in mid-game without Blink. I'm not saying he won't get it anytime soon, but, you know. Let's also see, I mean, does GuMiho want to attack out here again or not?
Yeah, I doubt that Classic will build many more Stalkers until Blink is actually getting researched here. I think if you're going for a charge like this, you want to be spending the gas mostly on units like Templar, like Archons. And the rest of your minerals are just going to be earmarked for Zealots, Probes, and Expansions, basically. And the setup that Classic is going for, leaning heavily into charge, even adding in all these additional gateways before taking the 3rd base, I think is him preempting what is likely going to be a push coming in from GuMiho. But honestly, the early game in map number 3 here has been so up and down that it's kind of tough to say exactly who was ahead. Like, GuMiho got some really good plays in, especially with the control in the SCV pool. Being able to save the command center, being able to defend without really losing anything. And taking out those Zealots, taking out the Stalkers. But Classic's also got a good number of jabs in. With Stalker drops like this, picking up a couple of SCVs. And also delaying the mining of the natural expansion for GuMiho for so long. So I think that GuMiho is still ahead. But it's tough to call. I think the supplies aren't exactly genuous right now because we do have a lot of things happening on Classic side of the map, such as Storm and Charge being researched and a 3rd base being taken and all these gateways powering up.
Yeah, there's no way for this War Prism to really get in here. We're kind of getting to the place where Terran's going to have a hard time. And it does appear that it's going to be one of these 2-base pushes. I actually think what you need to do is pull the boys here. I think you need to lean so hard into the timing attack that, you know... Oh, never mind. I was like, boys.
Only 5 boys this time, Tasteless.
Yep, not enough boys.
Oh, Classic might catch this. Psystorm just finished, and the Warp Prism here 0 on the front line. The Storm's catching a ton of damage on all of the bio. GuMiho's going to pick up a lot of the units to try and get out of there. But what a fantastic catch by Classic the moment that Storm is done.
Yeah, I mean, this is bad. I love the Storm drop. The problem is that like Terran's not even getting to the point where they're starting to hit stuff, right? I mean, they're just getting chewed up as they move through the map. I guess he will get the max packs gate here. I don't know, man. This looks pretty rough. Here we go. Templar's going to come in again, storming right in the back, so you can't even kite away. He's going to warp in right over here. He's going to try to shoot down the warp prism, but it does manage to get enough zealots out here. And I'm not so sure about this. I feel like GuMiho's in a really bad spot. I'm kind of surprised he did the warp in there with the warp prism, but you know, again, it doesn't really matter if the warp prism's gone. He can remake it, and the reality is this push is intended to hit. What? He's like, all right, leave the tank here.
Uh-oh. Classic might catch this. I don't think Blink is done just yet. Okay, there's still no Blink. It's only charge. Blink isn't even being researched right now for Classic, so he cannot pounce on top of those medevacs.
Good blocking. Terran's going to try to push up with a smaller army. I'm not sure what the plan is with this. This is like so minuscule. A Warpin's going to kill that. He's going to try to regroup again. He's scanning. He's basically trying to make... Okay, he's going to reorganize himself and try to hit again.
And GuMiho needs to find damage right now.
Yeah.
He's not building a third command center. He's not continuing SCV production. In fact, the natural expansion is missing 6 SCVs, and the main is oversaturated. GuMiho, kind of similar to game number 2, is so focused on just microing the army here on the front line, especially because Classic continues roaming with Warp Prisms and Storm. Okay, now finally all the SCVs getting full.
Boys.
That's a lot more boys this time, Tasteless. But again, 6 Templar full of Storms. I'm not sure how this is going to go for GuMiho.
Yeah. Well, the Storms are going to be the first sign. Like, how well did they hit? Okay, the first one does literally nothing. Second one scratches him. So he ends up, oh, that's funny. Okay, ends up losing the Warp Prism again.
Pretty good by GuMiho so far, honestly. These Storms have not done very much.
Yeah, GuMiho's doing a good job basically staying back and kind of milking these Storms before he decides to press in. I think there's like still 3 or 4 more Storms here.
And there's a lot of energy on these Templar.
Another great Storm. Tanks are getting closer. He's going to start to shell these Stalkers, which are on hold position, by the way. He needs 2 shots from the tanks. Zealots are going to come in here. He's going to basically sandwich this right as they come in. There's a lot of Widow Mines.
The Storms are, even though they aren't hitting very well, there's just so much attrition right now in the Terran army. And finally, Classic coming from the south side with all these Zealots is going to collapse on this position. No more Storms left here for Classic. I think GuMiho has enough.
No, GuMiho's in trouble. The last tank goes down. The Marauders run through the Storm again. The Immortals still picking this apart. The Zealots, of course, can overrun the Marines as well.
I think GuMiho's on the run, and he's fully committed to this on just 2 bases. Classic continuing to power up. He's getting Blink. He's adding additional gateways. The 3rd base is fully saturated, adding even a 4th Nexus now.
Yeah. And, I mean, you know, he's going to pull the boys again, but each time it's becoming less and less likely. He's going to try to, like, out-position him, but I don't think this is going to work. You know, I think he can just literally do 1 warping round in the main, and he's like, all right, get out. He's going to scan over here. Are the gateways on cooldown or not? What is this? Oh, he's going to take out the robotics bay tech.
I mean, Classic can afford to lose that. Nothing critical is being sniped right now. Getting the Templar Archives would be huge, but GuMiho is going to have to get out of here because the Stalkers are arriving. I mean, GuMiho, it might not look like a very good drop in the main base, but he doesn't really have a lot of options. This is one of the few moves that he can actually do to try and get Classic to pull some of his forces away from the front line. I think the reality of the situation is that the game is just slowly getting out of GuMiho's grasp.
Yeah, no, Protoss is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and I think we're almost, if not already, past the point where Terran can really recover here. And now we can see Protoss is basically pushing out and trying to engage this. Again, SCV's out here. He's kind of weird. You see him pull the boys, and then he's like roaming the map with them. I'm like, I mean, I guess you can repair this stuff, but you know, Protoss is going to be on 4 mining bases. Against Terrans too. More boys are pulled. How many boys can actually be pulled in this game?
It's quite a few, Tasteless. Anyway, GuMiho's going to try and go for 1 more, but look at this spread right now by Classic. I mean, if he attacks from both angles, it's just a perfect concave. And the Storms! Oh, GuMiho runs through the Storms!
GG!
Wow.
Classic wins. Beautifully done. GuMiho making him work for it. After two epic fail games on either side, we close this out with Classic honestly playing pretty damn well. By the way, the Max Packs gate really didn't do that much at the start. It almost seemed like it backfired. It's weird because I think that build is good against what Terran's doing, but he wasn't able to make it work.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was just because the control of GuMiho was so perfect. Also the decision-making, pulling the SCVs. And then Classic, he boldly tried to just take down the Hellions and the Reapers. He's like, well, if I can get on top of those with my Zealots, then suddenly I can kill as many SCVs as I want. There won't be any army here for GuMiho. And so Classic tried to make it work, but good job by Classic, honestly, pulling the game back from that. It was not the early start that he was hoping for, but he was still able to pull through with a win.
Yeah, beautifully done by Classic. Again, Classic, a real threat in this GSL. He's played incredibly in 2025. We're going to see how well he does here in 2026. But he does escape the round of 12 and now moves on into the round of 8.
Yeah, it was very close. Anyway, let's go into an interview now with our second place finisher, Classic. All right, congratulations, Classic, on your second place finish here today in Group B. More than anything, I just want to ask you, how are you feeling? Because today it felt like you were really tested. There were a lot of ups and downs. Where do you feel about your position in the game right now? Do you feel confident? Do you think you'll be better in the round of 8?
일단 김도호 선수 진출 축하드리고요. 첫 번째 질문은 오늘 굉장히 좀 우여곡절이 많았는데 오늘 좀 경기에 대해서 좀 어떻게 평가하시고 그리고 8강에서는 좀 더 플레이에 대해서 좀 자신감이 있으실지 8강 올라가셔서 그게 좀 궁금하네요.
네, 일단 승자전에 흑부전에 약간 한 소리여서 좀 쉽게 올라가나 싶었는데 이렇게 힘들게 올라갈 줄 몰랐고요. 최종전에서도 고병재 선수가 올라왔길래 좀 수월하게 올라갈 수 있을 거라고 생각을 했는데 생각보다 너무 준비를 잘해와서 이렇게 힘들게 올라갈지 몰라서 지금 너무 힘드네요.
Yeah, I feel exhausted today because actually I was caught off guard by both Zoun and GuMiho because when I was gonna play with Zoun in a winners match, he's not good at PvP, so I would get an easy win. But actually, he made a brilliant plays that series, so that caught me off guard so much. And also, when the finals match is going to be against GuMiho, it's going to be an easy match also. But I think I underestimated him. He prepared a lot, so I think that was a really tough time for me.
Going into the round of 8, what are your goals for this season of GSL, and how far do you think you can go?
이제 8강 올라가시게 된 만큼 또 앞으로 이번 시즌에 대해서 또 목표가 있으실 텐데 좀 지난 시즌에 비해서 좀 이번 시즌에 좀 어떤 점을 더 좀 보완하거나 목표로 하실지 좀 궁금합니다.
일단 저번 시즌에 오프라인 무대를 못 간 게 너무 아쉬워서 목표는 4강 가서 오프라인 무대 가는 게 목표고요. 저번에 좀 상대가 준비해온 거에 제가 좀 대처를 못하면서 떨어지는 모습을 보여줬어가지고 이번에는 좀 저도 준비를 열심히 하고 상대 준비에 따라 좀 좋은 대처를 할 수 있도록 하는 게 제 목표입니다.
Yeah, last season it was a real bummer that I couldn't make to offline finals. So that being said, I'm pushing through I'm trying myself to push through the groups, and last time I didn't really counter the enemy builds and enemy preparations. So I'll be more trying myself to counter all those plays that the opponents might bring.
Thank you very much. Best of luck to you in the rest of the tournament.
네, 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for Group A, and that does it for the round of 12. But we will be back next week.
Round of 8 going to be happening next week as we build up to the Season 2 offline finals. And it's a Protoss day here in the GSL. Zoun and Classic emerging victorious, but it was a really close one, especially here for Classic. I feel like this might have been a little bit humbling for him. You know, he said that he came into this one perhaps underestimating some of his opponents in Zoun and GuMiho. But Zoun winning first place. GuMiho really testing Classic in the final match. I think Classic will come back stronger at the round of 8, and he better, because we have some groups of death. Hero Classic, Cure, and Clem on Wednesday next week. I mean, talk about a TVP group. And then Maru Shin Zoun and a Rogue in Group B. Both these groups are insane.
These groups are so sick. And Clem playing in a GSL?
Yeah, that's awesome.
What? I cannot wait to cast that. Super excited to see how Clem will perform. I mean, Clem, look, I mean, I think he could get to the round of 4. We might have to get Clem to Korea. Oh, look how beautiful Clem is right now with his long flowing hair. But all these pro gamers are just so beautiful.
Yeah. I actually didn't realize Clem's hair had gone this long. My goodness.
That's right. He's got Jesus hair. I dig it.
This is going to be an awesome group. It'll be a real big deep dive into TVP, excuse me, although we might get a little bit of TVT and PvP mixed in. And I really have no idea who to expect. Hero's been looking so good. Classic, he absolutely got tested today, but I'm sure he's going to be stronger next week. And then Clem, are we going to have a foreigner in the top 4 in GSL? Will he be at the offline finals? Will we potentially have a foreign champion in 2026?
I'm so excited. I cannot wait to bring these games to you guys. It's going to be an insane Group A. And don't forget, guys, the finals is offline. So, we just wrapped that up on Sunday. And we would love to have you guys join us again on the next finals. Here's what the schedule is looking like. Friday, no StarCraft 2. You can go ahead and ladder and use the builds you learned, but we're going to be back with the RSL Saturday, Sunday. Wardy on Mondays, Kung Fu Cup on Tuesdays, and then it's back to the old GSL.
There'll be more GSL, and also those ASL finals going to be happening on Sunday on the 24th, 2 p.m. KST. So that's pretty early for an esports show here in Korea.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a slide for that too. But yeah, ASL finals is this weekend. You do not want to miss it. One of the best finals we could ever have asked for. So I'm super excited for that. Just a lot of StarCraft going on right now. It's a great time to be a fan of StarCraft. If you got time to watch, we've got games to show you.
Yeah, it's been honestly an insane time after it felt like we had, what, a 3 or 4 month gap with not too much StarCraft 2 happening, to suddenly have the GSL, the RSL, and the ASL all happen in the span of a month is just wild. In fact, it's 2 GSL seasons.
All the souls are going on.
All the souls.
All the souls. Guys, consider supporting the GSL. We have Code A, Code S, which are on the SOOP website or app. There's also a Patreon available, so just see what makes sense for you, and if you kind of support, we would appreciate it.
Whichever way is better for you. There are a ton of perks available you can see right there on the screen. This is kind of the state where StarCraft 2 is at. And these are the crowdfunding goals that we have here for the GSL in 2026. Should we reach $10,000 a month, there will be a GSL Season 3 this year, which would be absolutely awesome. Tastes. I would love to be back here for another season of GSL.
Madness.
Oh, it wouldn't be mad. I have a lot of confidence in the GSL fans. I think we'll be here. I think we'll be here.
Yes, guys, consider supporting. Yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing season so far, so we got a little bit of time off here. I guess we got 1 day off, and then we're going to be back on with RSL. So any closing thoughts, State?
It's a lot of StarCraft, man. I'm so happy about it. And yeah, check this out, guys. ASL Finals, Soma in Flash this Sunday, 2 p.m. KST. Be there if you're in Korea. If you can't, make sure you tune in online. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and Artosis and I are going to be casting that night. So it'll be up very fast. You can watch that on our SOOP channels, by the way. That debuts on my SOOP channel and Artosis' SOOP channel. And then it's uploaded on YouTube later. So, yeah, be sure to check that out. Thank you for joining us, guys. We love you. Bye-bye.
Incoming transmission.